Believe it or not, about pages are not for you or your company. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but the truth is an about page, just like every other page on your website, is meant to connect with your customer. Additionally, it needs to hype up prospective employees about your company. You need to highlight the things they care about. The objective of your about page should cover these three things: humanizing the brand, building trust, and demonstrating authority. Today, I'm going to break down the essential parts needed to make about page and how they can help you check off these things with your customer. I'll also be covering things that you should avoid on your about pages based on my past experience. Let's get into it. Every great about page should cover the following things: mission and vision, origin story, proof points, team, culture, and values. Let's start with your mission and vision. Your mission and vision statement should inspire both prospective employees and clients alike. For those of you who aren't sure what the difference between the two is, let me break it down quickly. A mission statement is a single sentence that describes the purpose of your company's existence. A vision statement describes what your business aims to achieve in the long term. For context, here's ours. Mission: we build memorable websites for brands that earn more customers, outshine competitors, and help recruit top talent. Our vision is to be the number one agency to work with and the number one agency to work for. Include it boldly, upfront, and as close to the top of the page as possible. This sets the tone for the rest of your page. Everyone loves a great founder story. Following up your mission and vision with yours is a great way to follow up where you're going and how you got started. Keep this as concise as you can without making it dry. Generally, 1 to 2 paragraphs is enough to accomplish that. Proof points can be divided into 2 categories, and you can include both of these, but you should at least include one. Let's start by talking about key data points. Most businesses are going to have different data points about the company that customers will be interested in. Information like the date the company was founded, the total number of employees, DE&I, customer retention, and total number of offices are all great things to include because they show the size, scope, and maturity of the business, prospective customer, or employee. Another way that you can highlight data in a more creative way is to come up with fun stats that relate to the business. We've all seen total number of coffees drank. Don't do that. But you can include fun ones as they relate to your business. For example, let's say you're an outdoor apparel brand. Having a statistic like how many of our employees believe Bigfoot is real could be a quirky and fun way of bringing things back to your brand. Another example would be something like what % of our employees believe a hot dog is a sandwich for a food distribution company. These types of stats show personality, disrupt the status quo, and really just humanize the brand. Another great way to demonstrate social proof is through news and press. Having a small section on your page that highlights things like news releases, press mentions, and awards is a great way to add third-party proof for prospective customers. If this is a frequent part of your marketing strategy, it might make sense to have a fully separate, dedicated page to highlighting all of these things, and then just cherry picking a few of the most impactful or recent ones to include directly on the about page. Next, let's talk about highlighting your team. Your business is only as good as the people who are a part of it. Prospective customers will look at your team to identify if key roles are in place and whether or not they're individuals that have the experience they're looking for. Prospective employees will look at your team to identify if there are advancement opportunities available, and generally if they seem like people they'd love to work with. In terms of your employee photos, how you present them will vary depending on who your target audience is. For instance, if you're a law firm, you may want to have people look more buttoned up and uniform in the photos. If you're a creative agency, like us, you might have a little bit more liberty in terms of how people are depicted. Either way, smiling faces are the way to go. A smile is perceived as 49 to 69% more attractive and engaging than not smiling, so make sure your team is looking their best. Organizing the team, generally speaking, a clean grid is going to be the best way to lay out that section on your site. It makes scanning everyone individually easy, and it creates consistency for how everybody is displayed. If you have a large-scale team, let's say more than 25 people, it might make sense to also incorporate department level filters. Someone applying for a shipping department role may want to see other people in that department quickly. If you're an agency providing marketing services, for example, a prospective client may want to quickly see who leads that department. In terms of bios and employee information, there are a lot of opinions on this, and frankly, a lot of it depends on your industry and who your customers are. From my point of view, I feel like in most cases, you really only need bios for the C-suite and above. This limits the number that need to be written and maintained and highlights the individuals within the organization that have the most seniority. Another way to approach this is to simply just link out to their LinkedIn profiles, but make sure they're optimized and up to date first. Last but not least, let's talk about culture and values. Believe it or not, this is equally important to both prospective customers and employees. Highlighting this in the right way not only goes a long way with building trust, but it also is the ultimate humanizer for your brand. Values. When highlighting values, avoid making them generic. Values like integrity or teamwork or quality don't really give us insight into how your organization thinks or operates. They also don't demonstrate any stakes. Facebook is an amazing example of unique values. Their value, move fast and break stuff, could have just simply been speed or simply move fast, but neither would have the same impact that the full line has. It also demonstrates a consequence, break stuff. When you're working on the edge and moving a million miles per hour, there are trade-offs to that. When it comes to your values, dig a little deeper and really think about what differentiates your company and how it operates. Culture can be displayed in a number of ways. Here are a couple of my favorites. Employee testimonials. Highlighting individual employees within the organization and sharing their direct thoughts on About page is an amazing way to get perspectives about the company out there on the ground level. I encourage my clients to try to source these types of quotes from mid-management and below to increase their authenticity and relatability. Event photos are another great way to highlight culture. Getting photos from events, making sure that you're avoiding posed photos as much as possible, and also having a variety of events really shows the diversity of what's being displayed. Charitable activities are an amazing thing to highlight on About page as well. Whether you're a champion of a specific organization, regularly hosting charity events, or volunteer, prospective customers and employees want to see those types of things. Not only does this give you more spontaneous photo opportunities, but it says very clearly what you prioritize and what you stand for. Before I wrap up for today, I did want to highlight a couple of things to avoid putting on your About page. Companies will oftentimes add something to the effect of why choose us on their About page. This breaks the number one rule I have. It's not about you, it's about your customer. If you nail all the sections I discussed earlier in this video, there's no need to directly say why choose us. The answer will already be clear. Timelines. This might be a controversial one because I know you CEOs love timelines, but hear me out. Timelines generally fall into two buckets: really long or not long enough. In both cases, they're not really doing you any favors. Really long timelines will not be completed most of the time, so a lot of that important information won't make it in front of the people that you want to share it with. A really short timeline can hurt the credibility of a company and make them seem flimsy. My advice that I previously laid out, leveraging a founder story and statistics, should cover all the key things that you would include in a timeline, but do it in a more easy to consume way. Lastly, I'd like to call out career sections on your About page. I'm a firm believer that companies should have a dedicated careers section rather than incorporating it on another page. This will allow you to speak more directly to prospective employees, and with all the stuff already going into your About page, adding a careers section on top of it will either diminish what you can include or just make the page way too long. Wrapping up, the About page on your website is just as important for building connections with prospective customers as it is prospective employees. Make sure you're structuring it in a way where you can address mission and vision, origin story, proof points, team, culture, and values. In a future video, I'll break down how to structure careers pages the right way. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe so that other people just like you can find value in it too. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to catching you next time.